And welcome back to Houston Newsmakers, where I'm honored to be joined by Houston City Council member Dwight Borkins from District D. And we have also with us this morning from District E, City Council member Dave Martin. Good to see you both. I have you here because we want to talk about something that's happening in America. There's a lot of divisiveness going on. Yeah. You are a Democrat, you're a Republican, you sit on the council. Talk about to me about how would you describe your relationship?
True friends, well respected. I've been on council for 3 years, and one of the first things I did was during that time assess the council and the strengths that each council member brought to the table. And the budgetary cycle came up, and I met Dave Martin, and I got to listen to him and listen to his heart, and then listen to his knowledge and background of how to make a budget work, and that started our relationship from my end.
Is there something different about the way you two work together because you come from different political specters?
I think we're very similar. He's tall, I'm short. He's black, I'm white. But I think we have the same personal beliefs, personal goals, and a lot of things. We align ourselves very much so. And you know, we do an annual crawfish ball, and we do an annual Christmas party together. We call it Ebony and Ivory. And we play off each other. We sit next to each other on council. And over the last 3 years, we've become best of friends. Our wives know each other. We do things socially. And I actually enjoy Dwight and Janora's presence, and we have a good time with it.
How do you keep that relationship going, as well as understanding that you're in different political camps, so to speak? How does that work? What do you do to
well, respectfully, let's put it like that. We understand that we have political beliefs, but it has nothing to do with our faith. I love our marriage, I love our country, and we separate the personal, and we never go towards a personal attack because of the true friendship. We separate that and govern based on what's best for our district and our communities. And we have conversations. We agree, we disagree, but we still keep the friendship there.
The reality is that as you look at the city council meeting, you see diverse representation. It is clearly a diverse city. The council is diverse as well. How much does that play a role in your thought process as you're working to make sure that you're putting aside individual differences to come to a common agreement?
Yeah, Cambrell, that's the interesting part of city council, is that he represents a district and I represent a district. So if it's good for his district and he thinks it's a good program for his district, I'm in favor of it in the same way he feels about me. But there's only a limited pot of money, and sometimes we're fighting each other for that pot of money. And I think we have great discussion. We keep it fact-based, but we also make sure that we do it with total respect for each other. There's no name-calling. Even behind the scenes, we don't have any of that. Now, we'll have a heated discussion, but we try and do it in a very respectful fashion.
What do you think's missing from the national conversation as it relates to politicians who are fighting tooth and nail for things that they believe in, but somehow there's plenty of name calling, there's disrespect along the way, there's a little bit of decency that's out. What do you make of that process is going on a national level, and how do you hope that that can maybe change and maybe take on what you guys are doing?
I think a lot of it is you have to get to know the person. You have to get to know the person outside of the politician. You got to understand where he comes from, what his family looks like, what types of personal beliefs he has. Janora and Dwight have become good friends with Julie and I. We do things together. We're doing something together on Friday. And Dwight has become a dear friend of mine. If you look at Dwight and you look at myself, you would never believe that we'd become close friends like we have. But I know that he has a lot of personal beliefs like I do, and we've been connected in that framework.
Let's talk about something that we talked about in this show earlier, that sanctuary cities. The president has said he's going to keep money away from cities that are declared sanctuary cities by the Homeland Security. The mayor said that Houston is not a sanctuary city. What's your thought about what's going on with the threat of holding funds back?
Well, let me just say this in terms of what this president is talking about, his policies in terms of whether sanctuary city, building a wall, whatever the case may be. I want to sit back and wait and see if he can bridge the gap, similar to what Dave Martin and Councilman Martin and I have done, work with the Congress, whether you're for or against his policies, to do what's best for the country, not for self. The city of Houston is not a sanctuary city, and Mayor Sylvester Turner, who's done, in my opinion, an outstanding job bridging communities together. We don't need that kind of discussion in this city, and Councilman Martin, I'm sure he would agree with that, to where it's divisive among the residents.
Well, do you agree with that?
I believe that Houston, and it's stated that if you listen to Mayor Turner and you listen to Chief Aceveda, is that Houston is not a sanctuary city. I do not support sanctuary cities. So if you look at it from a federal perspective, to lose the federal dollars because you declare yourself a sanctuary city like Chicago has, we would be in deep trouble. We have enough financial issues right now. I think you treat people with respect and dignity. If they're here, you make sure they're here and they're adapted to the environment in which they live. But if they have criminal activity and we pick them up, they need to have the full prosecution that the law will allow. So I do believe that Houston is not a sanctuary city. We said it publicly, and we don't want to be a sanctuary city.
What are your hopes for next week? Super Bowl's coming to town. What are your hopes and any concerns you have about the view of the world on the city of Houston?
Well, I hate our Texans are not in the Super Bowl, but I hope that President Trump decide, just in good faith, have nothing to do with your question, that he leave the affordable health care alone to help people who are in need, and wrap that around blessing people during the Super Bowl.
Any concerns at all about anything that's left undone at this
I
point?
think we have pensions that are looming. It's now in drafting the state legislation right now to go before the Senate and the House. I think we've had full support. There's only a couple of people that are making noise about it and against it, and we're going to deal with those individually. But if you look at the framework or the pension reform, every conservative, every Republican, every Democrat fully supports the mayor's plan, except a couple of folks. And we're dealing with them, and we're making sure we do it the right way.
Okay, real quick, Kimber, I just want to say to Councilman Martin's point, we have worked in the bipartisan Senate to put a pension plan together that will help save the city's financial crisis. And we don't need the politics in Austin trying to over-politic what the mayor's trying to do. He's working hard, Democrat, Tea Party, Republican, whatever on council. We're trying to make this thing work.
Well, I thank you for being here. And the spirit of cooperation is clearly evident. Hopefully it works, goes up. Somebody watches and appreciates. Thank you so much for being here. Good luck.
Thank you.
In the tone of next week.
God bless.